Dr. B, and the other team members. Like, just thank you so much for actually giving us the SDG. Like, we are not meant to just pick on our own behalf. Like, that's really so enlightening for me, I must say, and also demanding as well. Like, I have to just research and to new things I've not heard. The only thing I actually know about this SG is just the name, okay, sanitation, the normal thing, and industry innovation and all. But researching about their targets, challenges, problem solutions, and how that we are looking forward to have reasonable input across the globe by 2030. So I've actually learned a lot. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you so much for that feedback. Like, I am happy to hear that it was demanding because I know that if you guys were allowed to pick, there'll be a lot of biases. Like, it's not be balanced. Some SDGs will not even be touched at all. So it's good that it was equally shared amidst everyone. So I'm happy that you were able to learn something new. I'm happy that like it at least like put you on your toes and helped you to like do something out of your comfort zone. So that's really great to hear. So Odetayo, can you please like in like next 2 minutes or 1 minute, just tell us how it was for you, and then after that Elizabeth, and then we can launch into our meeting fully. Odetayo, can you hear me? Hello, okay. Odetayo, are you there? Okay. Since Odetayo is not responding yet, Elizabeth, can you help us? Let us hear from you. How was the experience for you? Am I audible?
Yes,
Yes,
you
you
are.
are. You are. This is not the
Okay.
Elizabeth on the project. This is our guest.
Oh my God. I thought it was Elizabeth,
Yeah, I
Olorunfemi.
know.
Okay, because she's also Elizabeth or something. Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't think Odetayo is available. So
Odetayo says she's in church.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, all right. I'm so sorry. Okay, all right. So it's great to hear from you, everyone. So I guess that since we have heard like one or two, I mean, gotten a feedback from one of the, I think she will represent every other person. I can imagine that it's actually very demanding, but it's good. Like as leaders, we always want to like step outside of our comfort zones. So it's great to hear from you. So I think at this juncture, I would like to, I don't know, should I hand over to Dr. B to introduce our guest, or should just bring her to the table? Dr. B, hello. Okay. Um, I'm coming in a minute, please. It's
Hi everyone. Apologies.
sources.
Can you hear me? I don't know what's wrong with my mic.
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Sorry about that. Yeah. So um thank you so much, Shalom. Welcome everyone. I know there's still more people that have not joined the call, but we start right away since everyone will still catch up on the replays. And we have our guest right here with us, Miss Elizabeth Ijeoma. And I'm sure many of us know her from Smart Leadership Summit. If you attended Smart Leadership Summit, you must have been electrified by our session. And it's such an honor to have her here once again. Thank you, Elizabeth, for always accepting to impact us with knowledge and wisdom. And tonight will not be an exception, as we'll be speaking on the theme called Thriving with Confidence. Like Elizabeth is someone that I can definitely say stands out for this, and we're so delighted to have you. We've also started working on this topic with our resources for the week. Not sure how many people have delved into the resource because of the ongoing projects, but this session will definitely blow your mind. And it's a delight to welcome Elizabeth. Elizabeth, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Dr. G. Good evening, everyone. Please confirm that you can hear me clearly.
Yes,
Can
I
you?
can hear you. Please let me leave the call and join back. I don't know why it's very low at my end. I think it's my mic, but I feel
But
like everyone can hear you.
okay, let's have other people
Yes, you
confirm
can.
that they are able to hear me very well if I'm audible.
Yes, I
Yes,
can
we
hear
can
you,
hear
ma.
you loud and clear.
Okay, that's good. Good evening, everyone. I am glad to be here with you this evening again to share moments with you and to share knowledge with you around the theme that we're discussing this evening, thriving with confidence across different areas of your life. My session would be, I intend for this session to be brief so that we could have some time to ask questions and then answer, because I assume that a lot of people would have one or two questions to ask around this topic. And please forgive me that I am not able to show my face, is one of the advantages of being a Nigerian without plenty of defense. So I want to believe that you forgive me of that. So I want you to put your questions together. I'll just share a few things with you, and then we can get into asking questions and answering. So, but it's very important that we talk about this thing, thriving with confidence. And this is because a healthy confidence in self lays a very strong foundation for the very many things that you will go on ahead to do in life, whether they are big or they are small. So it's very important that at the start of your journey, even in the course of your journey, that you build and develop a healthy self confidence. In my own life, in the course of my time through life, I've had experiences that have toned down my confidence in self. I've also had other experiences that has helped me build the things that I believe in myself, that has helped me build a healthy confidence in my abilities and the things that I am able to do. Right. So the idea around building a healthy self confidence is not necessarily a one-off experience, is a series of events, sequence of events that eventually eventually comes up together in a way that puts you in a place where you start to believe much about yourself, put you in a place where you begin to believe that you are able to do certain things, put you in a place where you start to recognize your abilities and your capabilities, and then you start to build a healthy self confidence. The journey to building a healthy self confidence, which eventually helps you start thriving with confidence, is synonymous to the journey of success, which means there's not really a specific destination. It's just a process that keeps getting better even as you consistently apply yourself to it. Everyone on this call today has a history or an experience that has greatly impacted your self confidence, either positively or negatively. Now, depending on where you are on either side of the coin, will determine the extent of work that is required of you to build a healthy self confidence. And we cannot even talk about thriving with confidence without also talking about the discovery of the uniqueness of your person, right? This is because your self confidence is a product of something that you believe about your abilities, is a product of something that you believe about your strength, is a product of something that you believe about your abilities. It's an attitude that borders around the uniqueness of your person. So the question is, what then is self confidence? So for me, this is how I like to define self confidence. Self confidence is an attitude that is born from the discovery of the uniqueness of your person, which eventually empowers you to take on daring and challenging tasks and challenging opportunities in the course of your time through life. I'll take it again so that you can get it. Self-confidence is an attitude that is born from the discovery of the uniqueness of your person, that empowers you to take on challenging and daring tasks and opportunities in the course of your time through life. Self-confidence is a track record of the little battles that you have won, the fears that you overcame, the challenging opportunities that you took on and made it work, the steps that you took afraid, yet produced outstanding results, the projects that you worked on, even when you felt like you were not the perfect fit or the perfect person for that project, but you produced excellence in a way that amazed people around you, in a way that amazed even the team that you were working with. So these little things that you succeed at, the little things that you fail at, even without the knowledge of anyone, are the things that empowers you even to have a healthy self-confidence, are the things that empowers you to start to believe much about yourself, right? And this is because these things introduces you or reintroduces you to the uniqueness of your person. This is why it's very important that in the course of your time through life, you learn to take on opportunities that are not even natural to you in that sense, because they would expose you to things that you don't even know about yourself. The attitude of self-confidence is one that is very important. It's an important skill that helps you to relate well with your team members. It helps you to appreciate the individuality and the uniqueness of other people. It empowers you to be a good team player and eventually an excellent leader. So the question now again is, how does one thrive with confidence? I'll share with you 4 things that I believe, especially because they are things that I've experimented with in the course of my time through life. And I've come to understand that when I was reminiscing over my journey, I saw that these 4 things has really, really helped me in thriving with confidence across several areas of my life. So one of the things that helps you to thrive with confidence is deliberately looking out for opportunities where you can exercise your abilities and capabilities over and over again. Because the idea around self-confidence borders around repetition, the things that you do consistently until they become second nature to you. So at the instance where you discover something about yourself, you discover an ability, you discover a capability, you discover a strength, or you discover anything about yourself that you can apply across anything that you're doing, you should start looking for opportunities. If they don't come to you, look for opportunities, look for communities, look for anywhere that helps you to apply yourself so that you can exercise these things that you have discovered about yourself. And when you do these things over and over again, they bring you to a place where you start to believe that I can actually go for this thing. I can do this thing. I can do this thing. Remember, I said that it's a track record of the things that you have done over time. So if you have been able to do a particular thing, and you excel at it, even if you failed at it. If you failed at it, it gives you options to know that this can actually be better. I could try this thing this other way. So you already have one other way that you know that if you do a particular thing, it won't work. Those things are the things that compound to building the things that you believe about yourself. It's not a one-off experience. There's not one event in your life that would happen and you'd be like, yes, I now believe in myself. It's a continuous process where you overcome things on a daily and then you start to believe, okay, I could actually go for this thing because I was able to try out this thing. I was able to do this other thing. So I'm going to apply myself to it. So you have to deliberately look out for opportunities where you can exercise your abilities and capabilities over and over again. The second way that you could thrive with confidence is that you must learn to take on daring and challenging tasks as well as responsibilities that reintroduces you to yourself and brings out the best in you. A lot of us maybe some of us are in school, some of us are working with organizations, or we are running our own companies. If you're working in an organization and you are part of a team, let me paint a scenario for you. Let's say you have a brainstorming session with your team members and you're trying to wrap your head around the project or something, and they are listing out, let's say, opportunities, listing out tasks for people to take on, and you're just quiet because you believe that because you don't believe in yourself well enough that you are able to make absolute contributions to those things. So what I'm saying here is you have to learn to take on daring and challenging tasks. If you find yourself in a team meeting like that, you have to put your best foot forward. Even if it's not your best foot, just try to put out something. Your ideas may not even make sense, but the fact that you are able to overcome that fear of speaking up, and then it puts you in a place where you start to believe something about yourself. Now, these are the things that has happened to me over the years. I've been in team meetings where everybody's saying everything, and I'm just there like, what am I even doing here? But at some point, I had to call myself to order, and then I started to contribute little by little. Today, when I sit in meetings, I have something to say, and sometimes my ideas are bought, other times my ideas are not bought. These things are the series of events that put you in a place where you start believing yourself and you start thriving with confidence. So you have to learn to take on daring and challenging opportunities and tasks, as well as responsibilities that introduces you to yourself and brings out the best in you. The third thing that helps you to thrive with confidence is that you must learn to face your fears, get involved with the things that scare you to death, and do them multiple times over. One of the things that I've observed with other people, even with myself, is that the things that keeps us from believing much about ourselves and keep us from really believing that we're able to do a particular thing is because we are always scared. And the truth is, if you sit down with yourself to really ask, what exactly am I even scared of? At the end of that conversation, you don't even have anything reasonable to say, because it's just almost like it's just like a mirage, right? So if you want to thrive with confidence, you must learn to face your fears. Learn to get to the point where you become face to face with the things that scare you. And the truth is, when you get to that point, nothing happens to you. When you get to the point where you become face to face with your fears, you will discover that the things that you used to scare you no longer scares you. And that is a contribution to the things that put you in a place where you start to believe about yourself. I had some experiences in 2022 where God brought me face to face to all the things I was scared of in my life. I mean, one after another. I had experiences, I had occurrences, situations, happenstance, call it anything, that brought me face to face with all of the things that I was scared about. And guess what? Nothing happened to me. I'm still here today. Now, what that experience did for me in 2022 is that it put me in a place where I became very audacious. Like, it's almost like if you present an opportunity to me today, or you discuss anything with me that you think maybe it's out of your league and anything, I'll just tell you, let's go for it. Go for it. There's not, maybe if I say there's nothing really that scares me, it might sound very rude, but something around that, there's almost really nothing that scares me in terms of something that I want to do. Even in the place that I work, in the opportunities that I take on, it's only two things that would happen. It's either you get a positive feedback or you don't. It's either you get a yes or you get a no. Now, these things are the things that compound over time and put you in a place where you start to believe much about yourself, right? So in the last couple of years, I've taken on roles, responsibilities, and projects where I thought that I didn't have enough education for, I didn't have enough experience for, like I didn't have enough anything for it. Even I've been in very high pace, high performance work environments that I thought that I would not survive another year. I remember when I used to excuse myself from responsibilities just so I could exempt myself from being part of the things that were being done. Why? Because I didn't believe in myself well enough. I didn't believe that I was qualified to even be there. I didn't believe that I was equal to any tasks. Sometimes we'll be in meeting and then people are just dishing out ideas and I'm just there. Sometimes I don't even understand what they are saying. But then I remember calling myself to order, like I said, and I started to take on those responsibilities. I started to take on those projects, even though I was scared. But what I've observed over the years is that I have seen how those responsibilities, projects, roles, and tasks has expanded my skill set. They have grown me and introduced me to different abilities and capabilities of myself that I probably maybe would never have discovered if I did not take on those tasks. And this is something that is applicable to all of us. It doesn't necessarily have to be something really big. The little steps that you take are the things that empowers you to thrive with confidence. So you want to thrive with confidence, you must learn to face the things that you are scared of, and you must be willing at all times to try something new. Now, the fourth thing that I want to share that will help us thrive with confidence is that you have to find a way to believe that you are just the right and perfect fit for that opportunity that you are running from, even now, maybe in your place of work, in school, or any organization that you are part of. You have to find a way to believe that you are the perfect person. Of course, there's actually a place for growth. There's a place where you apply yourself to process, and the process leads you to a place where you are now able to take on greater things. But for a start, if you see an opportunity and maybe you don't even necessarily need to be qualified for it. I could tell you for free, there's nothing I have done today in terms of work, in terms of project, that when I saw at first, I even felt I was 20% qualified. I just went for it. And in the course of my doing those things, I started learning on the job. I started learning on the process. I started learning on the project. And at the end of all of these things, I discovered a lot of things about myself. And now when I see opportunities, I'm like, I'm the best person for this. Even though I don't eventually get to be given that opportunity, but I know that I put my best foot forward. At least I made an effort. These are the things that put you in a place where you are not negotiating yourself out of significance. So you have to find a way to believe that you are just the right fit for that opportunity. And this is why it's very important that you create or craft out affirmations that validates the uniqueness of your person. Every person on this call has something that is special. And like I said, it doesn't have to be anything spectacular or anything big. Just discover something about yourself, about your abilities, maybe by virtue of the things that you have done in the past. The truth is, we have been involved in a lot of things that we did not necessarily pay attention to because there were things we discovered about ourselves without our knowledge. And it's until you sit down to intentionally reflect or reminisce over those experiences, you will start to see that the things that you were trivializing are actually the things that contribute to the uniqueness of your person. So you must learn to craft out affirmations that validates the uniqueness of your person. Now, there's one other part that relates to thriving with confidence that I want to talk about that we are not usually very comfortable talking about. And when I share it, I'll start to close out and then I'll give room for us to ask questions. Now, I want us to talk about failure. Failure is very, very important. We must understand that failure is very important on our journey to thriving with confidence. Failure is so important in this equation. And this is because there are things, there are abilities, there are capabilities that you would never discover about yourself until you experience failure. Now, nobody is saying you should be expecting failure, but you should make room for that so that when it happens, you are learning from it and it builds you even higher up on the things that you are able to believe that you can do. So you must understand that failure is very important because there are certain abilities, there are certain capabilities, there are certain strengths that you would never discover that are locked up inside of you until you experience failure. Again, I'll use myself like as an example. So many of the things that I'm able to do today and the path of life that I am currently trailing are 95% products of the things that I experienced when I experienced failure, the things that I discovered when I experienced failure, when I got to the very lowest point of my life, like where they say you've hit rock bottom, that's where I got to. And I discovered so many things that has put me on the trajectory of life that I'm currently trailing. So if you don't experience failure in life, there are many things that you will never discover about yourself. Like I said, nobody is praying for us to experience failure, but you have to keep an open mind. As long as you are seeking success, as long as you want to be an effective leader, an excellent leader, then you must keep your mind open, because somewhere in the journey of time, you are going to experience failure. And when you do, there is a dimension of yourself, there is an aspect of your strength, your abilities, your strength that you will discover. This is why failure is very important, even as a tool that helps us to build self confidence. In my own life, failure has been such a refining tool, like I shared, that has helped me grow the degree and the level of things that I believe in myself. It has evolved me to a place where I believe I can do much. I can do so many things that I would not necessarily think I would have been able to do in the last 2, 3 years. Failure has put me in a place where I really believe anything is possible, especially if it's in line with the things that I'm called to do, in line with the things that betters the life of other people, regardless of how big it is, in terms of the place that I work, in terms of the projects that I launch, in terms of anything that I do. Failure has put me in a place where I believe anything is possible. And the belief that anything is possible is a belief that it's a product of the way and the extent of things that you believe about yourself. So, in conclusion, there is no magic or any shortcut to thriving with confidence. Like I said, it's a series and sequence of events that would happen in the course of your lifetime, which will eventually compound into you believing yourself, into you putting you in a place where you start to build a healthy self confidence, right? So there are no magics, there are no shortcuts. It's an attitude that you get introduced to, it's an attitude that you come into as a result of the things that you have done multiple times over and over and over again. Thank you. So I think let's have some time to ask questions, maybe from your learning this week or just around the subject of thriving with confidence.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that session. Short but profound. Thank you so much. Um, I'm sure we'll end a thing or two, right? So, does anyone have any questions? Anyone, if you have any questions, kindly drop them or just raise your hands and I will. Okay, I don't know if Shalom has anything to share with us.
Is it good evening, sorry. Is it regarding question or
Yeah,
um
if you're taking any questions, got any questions.
I'm working on it, ma. Maybe others that have questions should please ask me.
Okay,
I'll circle back.
all right. So I think I would actually go first, but my first question is a very direct question. Thank you so much, Elizabeth, for that session. I'd like you to, I'm not sure if I got the definition of your definition of self confidence totally, but I'd like you to reiterate, then I come up with more questions with my next question, rather.
Okay. So I said self confidence is an attitude that is born from the discovery of the uniqueness of your person,
Okay.
which which empowers you to take on daring, and challenges opportunities in the course of your life. It's an attitude that is born from the discovery of the uniqueness of your person, which empowers you to take on challenging and daring opportunities in the course of your life. Yes.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you. Yeah, so this question is just for every one of us as leaders, because I know that um sometimes it's not far-fetched to have self-confidence when it comes to maybe executing your own project, depending on your ability, like maybe personal project or tasks, depending on your ability to do things well, probably in school or maybe something that you're very good at. But now you are going out to work with communities, work with people, probably execute your on a big project, your SDG goal that is related to an SDG goal, and you've seen many other people worked on this, and you're like, where do I start from? How do I even start? Like, it's just like the confidence you have just dwindles at that moment. So how does a leader thrive in that kind of space? Like when you're executing projects that are beyond you. I would like you to speak to that, please.
Okay. When you are executing projects that are beyond you, I think what I'll say to that is, like you rightly said, you've seen people who have done something, even if it's not exact. There are people who have done something in that line. So I believe there should be enough resources online for us to interact with. And then I think there's also a place for collaboration, which I think is one thing that we are not taking advantage of enough, because majority of us, we want to take the glory for the things that we do. So instead of us to seek assistance or seek collaboration, we would just want to go for it just by ourselves. And because it's something that we have not done before, it could also hamper our confidence. So what I would say is two things I would say to this is either, or even in addition to interacting with the very many resources that are online for us, it doesn't hurt to send an email and ask, this is what I'm working on. How can I go about it? I've not done it before. Is I would appreciate if you will show me or direct me on what I need to do, or I don't even mind coming on board. I don't even mind that you come on board with me on this thing. I am willing to learn. A leader is also learning from someone else. If you are leading a people, there's also somebody who is leading you in some way. So I think we have to be, I think maybe the word is vulnerable and humble enough to seek for collaboration and assistance in spaces where we are new to. Seek collaboration, seek assistance, seek help, and seek clarity in places that you are new to. And what I would say from my recent observation is collaboration at this time is the new competition. So you can actually ride on someone else's confidence if it's something that you are not familiar with in terms of what you just explained. So you can seek for assistance and you can ask to collaborate with somebody. That's what I'll say to that.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. That was really profound. I was still typing collaboration is the new competition in the comment box because that really struck me. Thank you so much. Um, is there any question before I go on? But apart from questions, I would like to hear your thoughts too about the session, what stood out for you, what you learned. Um, Goodness, would you like to just share with us your highlights from the session? Hi, Goodness. Okay, we have Olalekan here.
Good evening.
Okay, okay. Sorry, Goodness. You can speak now.
The highlight that I learned was when she said to thrive in confidence that you have to face your fear. That really stood out for me.
Wow. Okay. Would you like to expand on that, or that's just what you want to say?
Like we have to face our fear, whatever it is we are running from. We don't know, like I don't know what I'm capable of, because there are some
Mm.
things that I've left thinking like something I can't achieve. But going back to what I've left behind, it can actually be the start of something great. So I have to go back and face what
Mm.
I've left behind. That's the beginning of my confidence.
Mm. Okay, thank you so much. That really
Thank you.
speaks to many of us that have projects that were abandoned. All right. I can see Glory's and raised. Glory, you can speak.
All right. Thank you so much, Miss Elizabeth, for this. Right. I felt so embarrassed because I wanted to ask, like, what question can I ask the speaker, but it actually went to the other group. So, but then I was thinking that I should not ask any question because I was feeling kind of that way. But then I just want to use my story, like just my short story. So I remember going from a background that's whereby I was so intimidated that even if I'm invited to a conference or physical gathering, even online, I will have questions. In fact, they will have questions. I will have answers inside of me. But just to stand up or just to raise up my hand to say something, I was so scared. I was afraid. What will people say? Am I going to say the right thing? I was so scared, but over the years, I discovered that I became this kind of person that even if I don't have a question, I really want to source for questions online in which I feel that once I see those questions, it's going to resonate with me and I'll be able to pinpoint that, oh, yes, I wanted to ask these questions. So it's just been sharing with us that, just like what she said, that we should be able to face our fears. There will actually be a lot of things that within us, we think that what people say, can I really do this right? So it's just like what someone told me this week that if you didn't get to start it, that means you are going to lose the slot 100%. So why don't you start? So I'm just sharing. Serious now. I really felt so bad. What really happened to me tonight, but I just will see it as a lesson to someone out there that beyond your fears, there are a lot on the other side of your fears. There are a lot of people
Mm.
waiting to be liberated by your actions, and it's
Yeah,
not just about
yeah.
you. Purpose is about others out there through your own
Mm.
vision. Thank you so much.
Wow. Thank you so much for that, Glory. Really profound. I just want to put what you said in another word, in other words, where you miss every shot that you don't take. Every shot you don't take, everything you don't do, you actually miss out of it 100%. So we should not let anything hold us back. And before we before I ask another person their highlight, I'll just like Elizabeth to speak to us on impostor syndrome, because I feel like that's one thing that holds a lot of leaders back. You have the idea, you have the mindset, you know what you want to do, you even have the expertise, but you keep doubting yourself, like, am I able? Can I do this? How do I execute this project? How do I even reach out to people? Like, you're saying collaborate, but I feel like they're in a class of their own. How do I get into that class, right? How do I go beyond imposter syndrome, basically?
So this was very interesting because a few months ago I was doing a study about imposter syndrome, and I found out something really shocking that I could not really draw a conclusion to it. And what I found out is that even the topmost leaders of the world still feel imposter syndrome. Think about it. Everybody you admire today, everybody you want to become like, they feel imposter syndrome. So, and then I was asking myself, then does this mean that there's not a there's not a trick or a hack that one can apply and then get rid of this thing if people as high as up there still feel imposter syndrome? So what then become of those other people who are still just trying to put their food outside, just trying to get on or do something? So, but one of the things that I found out after I read everything is, see this journey of thriving in confidence and believing in yourself. Don't, a place where you are not feeling like you are not qualified enough, you don't have enough education, you don't have anything enough for anything you want to do, is a daily, should I say battle? It's a daily battle that you have to win. So the fact that you won it yesterday does not mean that you will not be faced with that battle tomorrow. So it's your response, it's our responsibility to always remind ourselves that we are able to go for this thing. And it's something you have to do every day. And if these people there could feel those things, then it's almost like saying, who are you not to feel it? You that we that don't have as much result, as much anything these people have, and they still feel imposter syndrome. So it means it's something that you have to win every day. And then to the part where you talked about these people are high up there and they are just existing in their own class and we're here. Let me give you a short story of something that happened early this month. I was trying to learn a new skill, and I was trying to learn how to run Facebook ads, which is something very technical. So the person I would want to learn from is somebody that is really up there. But because I've followed this person for a while, so I sort of have an understanding of what his reception would be, because maybe we've not had any um interactions in the past, but I know other people who are closer to him and who are already working in the result of what I seek for. What I did was I reached out to this person. I reached out to like the second person instead of the higher person. And then I reached out to him. I'm like, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. I don't know, I don't know nothing about this thing. Point me to what two, three things I am supposed to do. I'll be really grateful. I can even pay for it if you want me to. And there's a way that you can approach people, and there's a way you can approach people, even if they initially don't want to, but because of your manner of approach, they will just do something about it. Now, before I went for that option, I thought about two things. What are the extremes that would happen? What are the extremes that will be the outcome of what I'm about to do? Two things. It's either I get a yes or I get a no. If I get a no, I'll feel bad. I'll sulk for a moment. I'll pick myself up together again. Look for somebody else, or I'll go on YouTube, right? So these were the things that I thought about. And then when I got there, I got a yes. So I didn't have to feel bad. I didn't have to sulk, right? So that's what I'll say to that question.
Wow, 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 wow. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just made me remember something that happened to me April this year. I went for an event, and I had paid for an executive class, like a class role in the event, right? So when I got in, there was like a general role for everyone that could afford the general like class of the event. And when I stepped in, they said those that paid for the executive class should their seats are in front, right? And I was like, wow. I was not even like it wasn't anyhow for me because it's no big deal, and I was even excited to stay to sit in front and just get all the perks from the event. But what struck me was when I started working in, I started seeing a lot of my friends, like a lot of people in the general seat, and I'm like, oh my god, this is where I'm supposed to be. But immediately in my mind, I quickly corrected that thing that no, I'm always ahead. And I'm not saying all my friends are behind. No, we're all ahead together. But it just brought that sense of confidence to me that you can always be in the spaces with big people. You can always be in the spaces with I I value people. And I remember sitting there and they asking everyone in their 20s to stand up, and I stood up, and the persons next to me were shocked and were like, oh my God, how did you get access to this place? Blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I am always in this space. No one will push me down. No one will pull me down. No one will ridicule me. So it all starts with you. It all boils down to you having that confidence in yourself, not looking down on yourself. Because, in all honesty, I've seen top, like, I value people too struggle with believing in themselves, struggle with imposter syndrome, asking themselves questions once and again. Although it might not show on the outside, but it often happens. Yeah. Thank you so much for that, Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to add to that experience
Yeah.
you had at an event. You
Mm,
know, now if I'm going for any conference, I go for the highest ticket class.
mm,
That's what I do. Any event that I want to attend, I scroll and I look for the highest ticket class. Why? Because the class of people that will be there. I want to be in the same room with them to see if they have two heads and I have one, but my head is not fully formed. Yeah, that's what I do. I go for it, even though the money is like I go for it. And something happened. It was early this month. I went for an event and then I went for the highest, I think second to the highest ticket class. And then we had a dinner, a pre-dinner before the conference.
mm.
I've never had that kind of experience before. They invited
Yes.
us somewhere. Yeah, they invited us somewhere. And then this former governor, Rochas Okorocha, his daughter was there. And then so many, I was just sitting there like a misfit. But I sat there. I sat there and I was
Yeah.
engaging. They were saying things. I was having conversations with people that are doing big things with the government. I was just, thank God, God is even faithful. I'm not lost for words. I was just, yes, I will say something. At the end of the day, it was just that dinner was the highlight of that event. Even the
Mm,
main event the next day, it was nothing. And I was grateful that I went for that ticket class that gave me access to that event. I saw people, I mean, people that were making things happen, people that you just see on TV and you're like, these people are from another world. I put myself
mm.
there, even if I was feeling like a misfit, I didn't fall my hand. So yes, if you have the money and you want to attend an event, go for the highest class. So that
Yeah.
when they want you into the room where you are having lunch, even though you don't know how to use fork and knife, just be observing. Yeah, be observing. That's how
Yeah.
you learn.
Yes, very true. I have a t-shirt that with an inscription that says, I will put myself where I see myself. I'll place myself, yes, where I see myself. And it's when you start placing yourself there, you start seeing that people in these spaces are just like us. We are the
The
same
flesh
thing. There's no difference.
exactly. It's just
Yeah.
process. The process is time, opportunity, and process.
Mm-hmm. Very true. Very true. Thank you so much for that, Elizabeth. I like to hear from Shalom. Any highlights so far?
Yes, so I have a lot of things to I have a lot of things that was highlighted for me anyways. Like I think mostly the fact that she said like we should like take on responsibility, like those things that you feel like are very hard or scary, like face them, like just face them, just like go ahead to take on those tasks that I feel like they are mountains to you, they are scary for you. And even if you fail at them, like it builds your confidence and like you're able
Mm.
to surmount that mountain, builds your confidence, and it also like helps you to like learn lessons. And just like the example of Isaac Newton, that did job 1,000 times, and it doesn't count as failure. It just said he just found 1,000 way or 999
Mm.
ways not to how it will not work, right? So I just actually feel really challenged to like take up those things I feel like that are scary to me, or I'm afraid to fail at them. Like I'm willing to actually fail at them. I think it's called failing forward or something like that.
Yeah.
Like deliberately take on tasks that you know that you most likely fail at, and even if you fail at it, you build confidence for for it next time, or you learn how not to do it next time. So it was really like a wonderful session for me, honestly.
Yeah. Thank you so much. So I would like to hear from Olaliko, but I think I want to hear from another angle. And oh, okay, someone left the call, but let's just speak. I would like to hear from another angle. And why am I highlighting this is because we are currently working on the SDGs alongside our theme for the week, which is striving with self confidence. Right, Elizabeth, I'm sure you were surprised when you heard that at the beginning of the call. But why will I like to hear from the angle of the SDG? Because I know that these people also did not, the people executing each of these SDGs must have had a level of self confidence. And to execute it, they even need leaders like us. So I like to hear what has been your highlight in relation to what we've treated thus far this week, which is the SDG. What has been your highlights from this session, and how can you relate it to the SDGs we've been speaking about so far? Olalekan.
Good evening, everyone, and yeah, Miss Elizabeth, thank you so much for that wonderful session. Yeah, where should I start from? Yeah, this week my question, it was SDG one and SDG three, and that is no poverty and good health and well-being. Yeah, from this this from tonight's discussion, actually, I would like to express more on how to share this expressive personal trait with people that is bigger than you yourself. And then where am I driving to? Currently in Nigeria, we all know we are all Nigerian, if I'm not mistaken, and we understand what's going on in the economy. Like, things are expensive, and if you can buy, maybe you are the type that can afford to buy foodstuff of 1,000 naira before. Now you hardly be able to, like, you understand what I'm saying. So um from the highlights, initially I am part of those who will be out there condemning the government, because I feel it is the responsibility of the government to provide food, amenities and the likes for the citizen. But at this point in time, I am a change man. I just have to, like, take that responsibility to myself, that this is not the responsibility of the government. Even the change we are looking for in this country will never come from the government if you yourself don't make a change, starting from you yourself. I can remember there was a book. I can't really remember, but what I learned from that book, I just want to link it to today's session. In that book, there was this man. While he was young, he used to pray to God that, God, give me the grace to change the world. I want to change the world. So when he grew up, he grew older to, let's say, adulthood. Then he realized he has not even changed a single person. Then he had a thought that means maybe the prayer he was even asking for right from childhood is even wrong. So he had to change that prayer to, God, give me the grace and energy to change people who come in contact with me, or people I come in contact with. And he grew up to becoming 90 plus. And up to this very moment, he wrote in that book that when he was 90 plus, he realized he has still never even changed a single thing. Then he now finally realized that what he was even asking for is wrong. That is not what he was supposed to be asking for. That the first question he needs to be asking, he needs to be telling God, is for God to change him. That is, he was supposed to be asking God to give him the grace to change himself, because for you to even change the world, it begins from you. If you can't change yourself, you can't change people who come in contact with you, and you can't change people you come in contact with, and so you can't even change the world. If you can change yourself for better, you can begin to change people who come in contact with you. And it is these people these people you are influencing or you are changing, that will also in ripple effect change people who they also come in contact with, and by so doing the world will become a better place. So it starts from you yourself. So where am I going to is SDG 1, which is no poverty. If we really want to overcome that, it begins from I personally. It begins from me, myself, and not from the government. So if I can change myself, if I can change my mindset, if I can begin to take that responsibility that what can I do to make Nigeria a better place, then I can begin to see the change everyone is asking for. So now this is Nigeria and our land is so fertile. It's fertile. We can almost every nook and crannies of Nigeria just plant something, but before you look at it, it has grown. And from there you can begin to tap. Because there are so many countries in the world who they don't even have half of what we have. We are so blessed in this country. So you talk about agriculture. Let's just even put agriculture aside. Let's talk about our natural, even just crude oil. Crude oil is even a small portion of the blessing God has given us in this country. Apart from crude oil, we have mineral resources, we have gold, we have, and apart from all of those ones, we still have our fatherland. Like all of these opportunities are just there. Why can't we begin to think about how can we tap into these resources instead of us going to outside country seeking for greener pasture? We have all of these opportunities in our country, but we are not tapping into them. And that is why we have foreigners who are even coming into this country. They are tapping into this opportunity and they are doing well. Our food industry, like biscuit industry, most of those things, most of those offices, most of those industries are head by Chinese. Why can't we be the one heading all of those industries? So all of this thing make me realize that the problem we have in Nigeria is not even the government. It is high. What can I do? So there was a time in class in my room, I was discussing with some of my friends that I woke up this morning and I looked to my right, I was seeing grasses like weed. To my left, weed. Then I was like, guys, just imagine we woke up in the morning and we look in front of us, we are seeing maize, like we planted maize in all of these places, and all I just seeing are maize and not grasses. Look at this left. What if like I was just trying to talk all of those things, and some of them were like they were flowing, they really understand what I'm saying, and they were tapping into that vision. Why some were like, you can't, I don't think that this land can grow all of those. You will surely have people who will want to tap into your idea, and you have people who will never. So where I'm just trying to go to is no poverty. So if you really want to eradicate poverty, please, I am begging you, it is not from the government, it is you yourself. Let's begin to think of what can I do to eradicate poverty in Nigeria. And I've taken this directly to what Ms. Elizabeth said, which is taking responsibility upon yourself, responsibility that you don't even know who created it, or maybe you don't know who created it. Just take it upon yourself and begin to think of a solution you can prefer that will make the world a better place. Thank you.
Wow, 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 wow. This is amazing. Thank you so much, Olaliko. So it all starts with us. It all starts with our growth mindset. It all starts with having confidence in ourselves and to push a vision. You cannot push a vision without being confident and thriving. Like you can start out being scared, but it takes confidence even in that fear to um do it. Yes, I can see Elizabeth's comment. They said there are many people out there telling you cannot do it. Do not be part of it. Yes, very true, very true. And I like to also say this to wrap up before I get Elizabeth's last words. And this is from a biblical standpoint. I remember the story of what's it called? The story of blind Bartholomew in the scriptures that was asking Christ to heal him, like to restore his sight. And the disciples of Christ were saying he should keep quiet. I was shouting so much. So someone said something that really struck me from that story. He said the people that kept on shouting at um the blind man to keep quiet actually had open eyes. Hmm. That really as like it stood out for me, and it makes a lot of sense because if you look at the situation happening around, you see that there are many people like that, and there are many people that are even also blind that keep shouting that why do you want to receive your own miracle? They want you to still remain in their own class, but you would insist that no, you are not like them. You are not going to be like them, right? And yeah, on this note, I'll just like to have Miss Elizabeth's final word as we wrap up this class in the next 3 minutes.
Okay, thank you. It's actually beautiful that we're all believers on this call. So my last words I would be sharing something very little from scriptures. Remember when the angel of the Lord came to Mary and told her how that she was going to conceive a child that would become the savior of the world? And then Mary asked the angel, how shall these things be, seeing that I know not a man? And the angel responded and said, the Holy Spirit will overtake you or will come on you, something like that. And then Mary responded back and said, be it unto me according to your words. This is the way I like to describe Mary's response. If Mary did not believe the response of the angel, she would not have responded that way. And probably the angel would have gone out from her place and looked for somebody else who believed the word and would have been the mother of Jesus Christ. So the reason today Mary is the mother of Christ is because she believed. Why am I sharing this? Whatever it is, it's even beautiful that you guys are working with the SDG goals. You see, there's a lot of work to be done. There is nothing on those goals that any one of us on this call, if we believe in ourselves well enough, beautiful that we're even believers. So we have an advantage, even though we have a lot of learning curves because of the many things that we want to do. So all I'm saying is always be your biggest cheerleader. If nobody believes in you, don't be part of the people that don't believe in you. If everybody gives you a no, you should always have a yes from you, regardless of how daring that situation is, so that you can thrive with confidence. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Miss Elizabeth. Thank you, everyone that stayed true to the very end of this call. And to everyone that was still listening again, thank you, because I'm sure that it's been very interesting learning time. Thank you so much. Do have a wonderful evening, everyone. Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.